there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. Today we're talking because the ratings are in. As you guys know, whether the ratings are increase or decrease, we're going to be here, you guys. We don't hide from nobody. We're not scared of nobody, right? But I told you guys when it hit the season low, I told you guys the ratings were going to go up. I told you that because the fact that that Variety article came out where they were alleging at the last paragraph of another article that there was nearly 4 million people, 3.7 million people and 0.09 of the L3 linear demographic that tuned in to Love and Marriage Huntsville, you guys. I told you guys, do not be surprised if the ratings tick up. Do not be surprised over the next couple of weeks if this goes over 300,000 viewers. And I was right. I told you guys, here's the thing, you guys, when you get down to the bottom and the lowest of the low, there's nowhere else to go but up. There's nowhere else to go but up. But I knew two things, right? Because previously, like I said, episode 7 had, let's go back. Episode 6, June 8th, had 238,000 viewers, 0.04 in the demographics. That was the season low. Then the day before, episode 7, as when Carlos King released that series high in ratings tomfoolery. Still don't have receipts on that. And the demo ticked up 0.05 and the ratings went up to 286,000. Well, since then, this past episode 8, June 22nd, the demo reached a season high, 0.07. And it went up 97,000 viewers, you guys. So it went from 286,000 viewers to 353,000 viewers, you guys. And you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be upset. Carlos King did the same tactic, actually. He did the season premiere in the second episode. And that was, and I knew immediately that, that was going to be why the ratings went up, right? So remember the first episode was the podcast, right? And remember the end of the podcast, the cliffhanger was the introduction of Sunny and Moses and this entanglement situation with Destiny. Well, that season premiere had 278,000 viewers, but then the ratings ticked up for the part 2 of the podcast to 323,000. So follow where I'm going with this, right? So episode 7, at the very end, the last scene, was Mel and MARSAU getting into it. However, they broke up the scene. They chopped and screwed the scene to leave it as a cliffhanger for you to tune in this past Saturday. And I told you guys that is going to shoot up the viewership because everybody was hyping up Mel and MARSAU. Everybody likes, for whatever reason, they enjoy seeing their scenes. Carlos King's calling them Martin and Pam for whatever reason. But nonetheless, that brings eyeballs. And the other big scene that was a part of the preview was the Destiny versus Sunny, right? So I knew that just on that alone, that the ratings were going to be higher for that, right? Because even Carlos King, I think, made a comment yesterday in his Messy Mondays, the ratings are increasing. Well, this time, Carlos King, you're correct. This time, there's receipts to actually match what you're saying this time. But the previous couple times that you were talking about the ratings hit a series high or season high or whatever, that was some tomfoolery. You still have not hit the episode that I believe was a few seasons back that had 1 million viewers, you guys. Still haven't topped that. Still haven't topped 400,000 this season. I believe your most viewed episode last season was 444,000 viewers. So let's see if you break that, Carlos. Let's see if you break 400K. Because you're at 353,000 right now. Let's see if you break 400K this season. Right? And it may not be, we'll see. We'll see if you hit it now or if you'll hit it the finale or the reunion. But I told you guys, some of you are going to get sucked in. I know it's hard for some of you. I know some of you try to say, hey, I'm blacking out, but then you get sucked in. You want to see what's up with certain cast members, with certain scenes. So I already knew what time it was, you guys. So I'm not upset.
This is how this works, you guys. It's like a tennis match. It's like a ping pong. It's like a back and forth, right? Like, either you stay with the cause, for those of you who are blacking out, and the ratings will reflect that, or certain tactics, certain manipulations, certain scenes will get you sucked right back in. Right back into the tomfoolery, the same tomfoolery you just said last week you were tuning out of. I get it, right? But there's some people who still have yet to turn the channel to own on their cable TV or on their actual television sets, and have only seen clips on Instagram or on Twitter. Not even on YouTube, but on Instagram and Twitter, from the accounts that will post the main, events or with the main scenes that took place, right? But I'm not upset about this. I knew this was going to happen, right? And the ratings are going to go down again. like that's the nature of the beast, you guys. But I knew how hard Carlos King was fighting to stop getting dragged for the ratings being a series low, that there was nowhere else to go but up. That the ratings were going to go up no matter what, you guys. It's just how it was going to go. And part of that was, it's also, like I said, a manipulation tactic, because people who are thinking that they're blacking out and that they're supporting the cause, and then they're going to see some inflated number like that, nearly 4 million. They're going to be like, well, what's the point of me blacking out if all these people are still tuning in? And they don't understand the data that was said in that particular article was tomfoolery. There was no receipts. There was no information to back it up. Notice it's not mentioned again. It's poof, be gone, right? And half of that paragraph of the last paragraph of that article was whited out to push a certain agenda, to make you think more people were watching this season than what they were. And even TV Deets came out and said, no. These people are not tuning in this season, and posted again the real receipts, you guys, of the cable ratings. So when all of that happened, and I knew going into the previous episode 7, that we were going to get a MARSAU and MEL scene, I already knew what time it was. People were going to tune in for that. And like I said, Carlos King did the same tactic he did episode 1, episode 2, of breaking up the scene that he knew was going to cause the most, talking, the most trending, the most commentary, and all the things. People were going to have a reaction to that. So I'm not shocked at all that some of you MELometers, even some of you MEL supporters, even some of you tuned in because you wanted to see this back and forth with MEL and MARSAU, and some of you tuned in, you little destinators, some of you tuned in to see what was going to be of the Destiny and Sunny conversation, right? And maybe this 1 week of Destiny doing extra promo and extra interviews with every podcast in the land, including Dr. Heavenly, maybe that helped, right? Because it got people talking once again about the show, about this timeline tomfoolery of Destiny, Sunny, and Moses, even though I feel like we keep regurgitating the same thing over and over again, and the only thing that keeps changing are the dates. But nonetheless, maybe that helped kick some things in, right? But I think primarily it was the MARSAU and MEL thing, right? That really, people wanted to see the conclusion of that, right? And nonetheless, here we are. And the other scenes, of course, was, MARSAU, again, coming after Tisha for her behavior at Nell's party and saying she was going down in the gutter. Also, MARSAU coming back with Tisha in his debrief after his sit down with Mel and saying that he agreed with her and that two things can be true, but he agreed with her that how could she control strangers she doesn't know if you can't control your mother-in-law. And bam, this weekend, the mother-in-law goes completely off the rails, even though it's been that way for the past couple of years since she's been fired. But it's even been, even more ridiculous as the days gone on. Now, in the last live that set Mel off, it wasn't as bad actually as previous lives Phonics Unhooked did, but it's one of those things where it's like, you've had enough. Enough is enough. And Mel recently said that she had just filmed scenes with Letitia a couple days ago. And she said previously she was on good terms with MARSAU and Tisha, that they were friendly, they were cool, they were getting along. So this happening now in the middle of filming is a little weird, right? It's almost as if Letitia's mom wants to sabotage any potential of Mel and Tisha mending the fences. And I feel like as long as Letitia's mom continues to meddle and continues to impose her negative views about Mel and the Melometers and whatever else, that this friendship is never going to thrive, right? But MARSAU doesn't seem to care. He seems he's going to find a way to film with Mel no matter what. So he doesn't care, right? He'll still drag the Melometers and still be all up in Mel's face, right? But nonetheless, it puts a serious strain between Mel and Tisha because they've got history. There's been a lot that, Letitia has, looked at Mel for advice, and their kids have played together, have had play dates, have been at each other's birthday parties. Mel helped out Letitia when she wanted to join Grad Chapter to become an AKA, and also in the earlier seasons when Letitia was trying to get out more and do something more than being a housewife. It was Mel who had the connections for, different charitable organizations and things for Tisha to be a part of. So this was a real friendship at one point in time, right? And then things went left when Martel got in his feelings that his cheating was on display and his cheating was exposed. And instead of just owning it and trying to repair his marriage, he wanted to take down his alleged fellow cheaters with him, right? And that's when he started with the MARSAU has 20 girlfriends and blah, 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 blah. But instead of Letitia telling her husband, MARSAU, to hold Martel accountable, that's when she flipped the switch and decided to take it out on Mel. And then that was the beginning of the end of their friendship, right? Because she basically utilized that as an excuse to, basically say, hey, we're done, right? We're not cool anymore. But nonetheless, I say all of that to say that the show's gone downhill, right? And, this was desperation. Carlos King was going to say or do anything to save this show, right? To make sure that the show's picked up for the second half of the season, to make sure potentially that more seasons are to come. But now you have the data, though, that shows you where you're featuring Mel. If Mel's a part of a major scene or a major storyline, those are the episodes people are tuning into. Destiny, you can't make that argument because you had been missing on some episodes and actually the ratings were higher without you in them, right? So you can't even really get credit for this episode because it technically started off as a continuation of Mel and MARSAU's conversation. And furthermore, a lot of you were still discussing Mel and the Melometers in every single scene. Stormy's discussing her incident with Black Titanic. MARSAU and Tisha are discussing Mel and the Melometers. MARSAU and Mel are discussing Mel, Martel, and the Melometers. And, it's just a whole thing. So Mel and the Melometers are in your guys' mouth. you guys cannot keep their names out of your mouth. And I'm not shocked, you guys, at the rating. So don't be upset. Don't be in your feelings. Don't be mad. This is what happens, right? This is what happens if you can convince enough people that the show is doing better than what it is, right? And this is what happens, right? So I'm not shocked at all. But we'll see what happens in the coming weeks when Mel's not the focus again. And they focus more on this nonsense with Trisha Ken and Martel and whatever. And they focus on some other things, or they continue to, beat a dead horse with this Destiny and Moses thing. Or, the continuation of Stormy, quote unquote, turning herself in regarding the, incident with the other YouTuber, Black Titanic. So I feel like there was a lot of vested interest for multiple reasons. And maybe even some people wanted to see whether they were going to actually name any YouTubers or feature any YouTubers' content, since we are 8 episodes in where they have nothing else to talk about but the content creators. So I'm not shocked at all, and you shouldn't be shocked either. But that's why we're here. We're going to keep it real, you guys. We're not going to shy away from nothing, right? We're going to report the facts always. We're not going to cook numbers. We're not going to make anything up for clicks and views. We're not doing any clickbait nonsense, right? And we're going to talk about it. We're going to analyze why the ratings went up. Like I said, some of it was manipulation, but a bigger thing was people are interested in Mel and MARSAU. I saw the viral comments and the views on just the promo clips alone, you guys. And again, a lot of people were interested in the Destiny versus Sunny scene, right? But outside of that, the episode didn't give anything as far as I'm concerned. Even Stormy's little event didn't really give what it was supposed to. I mean, the alleged models and Martell chickened out per usual was a waste of time. It just didn't give. It didn't give what it was supposed to give and all of the things. So there's that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Are you going to be blacking out this week, or are you going to tune in again to see the aftermath of the Stormy versus Black Titanic thing, or whatever version of events they twist for their show? Let me know in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.